What you're about to see is extremely practical. We sincerely ask you to not try this at home. That's a double negative. The following acts were performed by professionals and can be easily duplicated. Results may vary depending on experience, background, ethnicity, and sexual orientation.
Decision point. So do you want to go to college or not? Well, your parents are probably already kicking your about it. But what you have to know is most companies don't hire anybody with anything less than at least a bachelor's degree. If you're watching this video, you've probably already made your decision about college, and if you haven't, it's too late. What you need to know is some top tips about how to apply to college successfully.
So apparently there's this girl. She told her friends and family that she got into Stanford University, and she went to freshman orientation and made friends with the actual people who got into the school. She convinced them to move into their dorms.
برای بچهای ایرانی که تازه شاید از ایران اومدن یک کلمه هم فعلا انگلیسی بلد نیستن، من دیدم خیلی هاشون میشینن تو خونه تافل میخونن. آقا این کارو نکنین. نشین تو خونه کتاب بخونین. کاری که شما در اصل باید بکنین که برید کالج ESL بردارین. باعث میشه که خیلی اتفاقا میفته توی کلاس با بچهای دیگه صحبت میکنین. کلاسی هم نه که همش ایرانی باشه. بعد با معلم مجبورید صحبت کنید هر روز، مجبورید پیپر بنویسید، مجبورید اون کارهایی رو بکنید که دانشگاه بعداً از شما میخواد، ولی در یک سطح پایین‌تر.
Anyways, convince them to be able to move into their dorms. She did this for 3 semesters. She pretended she went to the school. She talked to all the students and acted like, oh, she's studying for this hard test and how hard this class is and that class is.
It's a decision between community college and university. If you have good grades and you know exactly what you want to do, university is just for you. But if you're a little bit indecisive, you're still not sure, you don't have the best grades, go into community college. It's actually easier to get into school after you've done community college for 2 years. Your competition in the classes are a bunch of trollmans. Get a better chance there.
3 semesters she did this.
Nobody noticed.
And so her RA basically was like, okay, it doesn't make sense for this girl to be here. So what they do is they start writing emails to the people her roommates, and then she breaks into their email, and then she erases everything so that the roommates never understand anything, and then she writes back to the RA like, oh no, we never noticed anything weird. She she's fine, blah 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 blah.
Tip number 9.
Do not be intimidated by the application process. You will want to give up, but do not do so. That's the best way for colleges to weed you out.
Because they got suspicious, the RA got suspicious, so she had to stuff all her clothes in a closet, and she would crack the window and crawl in through the window for 3 semesters.
Tip number 8. You need to find out which colleges have what programs, what they're good in, and find out which college is good in the things you want to do.
But the other thing is that some people say that she said that she went to Stanford so that she could get into the Santa Clara ROTC program. And the only way you can get into the ROTC program at Santa Clara is if you are part of another university, right? But Stanford is not contracted with Santa Clara, so it's not one of the schools. So then that was something that tipped them off.
Tip number 7. It's very important to ask questions about the application process. It's more important to ask questions from those people who just applied.
This is tip number 6, coming right at you. You need to be different, be unique. Stress your adversities and your talents. Personal note on being different. Let me just put it this way. If you're a homosexual black Jew who comes from a low-income family and is disabled, you have a great chance of getting in. Trust me on that.
She would show up to classes and she would even take the test, and some people say that she did really, really well on these tests. And the point is that she didn't get into Stanford, and people are like, oh no, you should let her in now, you should let her in. But a lot of people are pissed off, like, what the hell, we applied, we got in, she got free dorms, she got free food, she got free everything. And it's not fair, so now apparently they're trying to sue her.
Tip number 5. Letters of recommendation are very important. However, if you're getting it from the President of the United States, it may not be that personal, and colleges may not look so greatly upon that. So who you should get letters of recommendation from? Parents, teachers, advisors, employers. These are all great people.
So now the thing is, should they sue her? Should they get all the money from her? Or like, whatever, that's a big deal. that she owes Stanford.
Tip number 4, and this is the most important tip. Who your best friend is for the next couple months is the admissions counselor. You buy cello kebab, korma sabzi, whatever you need to do to make it in with them. Set up a meeting, and after that meeting, make sure to follow up with an email. Thank them, love them, hug them, send them chocolates.
Tip number 3, personal statement. Very important. Make sure you make it immaculate. Make sure you write about something you're excited about. Have 2 peers of yours review it, proofread it 2 million times if you can. There are online services such as essayedge.com that will review it for you and make suggestions.
But she was psycho because she had like MySpace pages telling people how great Stanford life is and like all these things, and have people come visit her at the university. I mean, come on.
Tip number 2, extracurricular activities are very important. However, not as important unless you hold a leadership position in that activity. So make sure you make your mark and be a leader.
Tip number 1, apply early. The earlier you apply, the more spaces they have, the less restricted they are, and the better chances you have of getting in.
So let's say you didn't get into that number 1 school you really wanted to get into.
And you have a Persian dad complex.
Let me see here. Shut up! A+ math. That's good.
You know, like the Persian dad, we actually interviewed him.
Oh my god! Dad, no! What's up? Navi! Navi! You got my pick! You got outside, you play with your daughter! Bit! English! You're in job!
Baminam, did your dad force you to go to a specific major?
When you're Persian, you're not free. You're never free to begin with. My dad says, "Boro doktor besho," you become rich and famous. When I go everywhere, I can say my son, he's Persian, he's doctor.
Let's say you didn't get into that school you really wanted to get into. All hope is not over. There is still an appeal process.
And we have a story about an appeal process. We interviewed someone else about that. Let's hear it.
When I got into the Letters and Arts College, I need to apply to the engineering college in order to get in. So I applied my senior year in high school, but I didn't get in. And I couldn't believe it. So I really wanted to do computer science. This is what I wanted to do all my life. And I appealed the process. Went to the advisor for the dean and I asked him, I need to appeal. Help me out here. I found out that they don't even look at my application. They cut me off just because of my SAT scores. So they told me, yeah, you have a great application and we'll look at it, but you have to file an appeal. So I filed an appeal and I sent it to the advisor for the dean and they rejected it again. They rejected my appeal. And I just didn't understand what was going on. I went directly to the advisor's office and I told him, what's going on? Please let me appeal this one again. And he was a very helpful person. He helped me out, made me appeal one more time, and told me exactly how to write my letter and sent it to the dean, and after that I got in. Moral of the story really ends up being that if you're persistent and you know what you want, you just keep going at it and you keep doing it till you get what you want.
Alright, so let's say all of that stuff you did still didn't work out. You still didn't get into that college you wanted to get into. It's still not over. You can do a lot.
You can go to your second choice, your third choice, your fourth choice.
There's actually a statistic given in Time magazine about Fortune 50 companies.
So apparently of those 50 CEOs, only 5 of them have graduated from Ivy League schools.
Most of them graduated from state schools, schools that you wouldn't really consider the best school out there. This is Iman.
And this is Behnush.
And this was the Iranican report on college applications.
Iranican wishes you the best of luck in your college experience.